Yes, lads and ladies, how's it going? It is Spurs Related. James and Andre back again. We've been a few days, but absolutely buzzing. It's game day tomorrow. Today's Saturday. We've got a bit of time to, enjoy these couple of slip-ups from our top four rivals, or maybe top three rivals, as it could be seen now. But obviously, we're getting to things. Andre, my man, how are you doing?
Good. I'm glad to be back here. It's been a hot minute. That international break was pretty freaking crazy. Lots of upsets, which we'll get into, obviously, very soon.
Absolutely, exactly that, Andre. And I can already see 10, 15 of you already in here. Big up the support, guys. We'll get through some comments in just a little bit. But it's got to be said straight away. Andre, I know we're going to talk about it later in the video, but it has to be said. It's on my mind at the moment. Chelsea losing 4-1 at home against Brentford today. And Christian Eriksen on the score sheet getting that second goal. Oh, it was just amazing to see. The goals kept going in for Brentford. It was relentless. And listen, that actually opens things up. If Arsenal win their game in hand, they're only 2 points behind Chelsea, I believe. I mean, and then if we win against Arsenal, like I said, let's focus obviously on top four, but maybe Chelsea are going to get dragged into that top four battle as well. But yeah, just absolutely incredible. What did you think of seeing that, Andre? Could you believe it?
Well, obviously, what a crazy game. Glad to see Ericsson get getting his mojo back. Obviously, didn't end well with us exactly, but he gave a lot to this team, and he'll always have a special place in my heart. So, especially after the things that happened last year, it's great to see him doing well for Denmark, and now he's bringing it over to Brentford and showing, making everyone look at Brentford and be like, yeah, they have themselves a star player, a world-class player. And that's how it always should be. So great
Absolutely.
win for them. Chelsea, though, wow, what is happening?
Well, long may it continue. I mean, at the end of the day, Chelsea were looking very solid at the start of this season, weren't they, under Thomas Tuchel, obviously off the back of their Champions League win. And listen, I mean, it proves that anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League, as we all know. And that's why we shouldn't maybe be too confident going in tomorrow. However, I am going to be too confident. I mean, obviously we're getting the score prediction later on, Andre, but I'm feeling very confident. A lot of our international boys did very well, which we'll also get onto. But before we do get onto these subjects, guys, let's welcome on in these Spurs Relatables who are in the chat, queuing 15 of you on YouTube alone already. Unbelievable stuff, guys. Really appreciate the support. If you can, spare a like button just at the bottom of your screen as well, and subscribe if you're new. We do appreciate that as well. Very, very much so. But as always, here he is, AN Army, as always. Eriksen owns Chelsea. I love it. Chelsea are looking for new owners. How about Christian Eriksen, who just absolutely owned them this afternoon in their own back bridge? Absolutely love it. Fantastic stuff. I'm absolutely buzzing. Shushan's in here. Big up Shushan. Hope you're well. Says, an absolute 3 points. No excuses. I can smell something because a lot of upset has happened. So please, Spurs, no ball in it tomorrow. Winning by 3 goals would be huge. Please turn up. Listen, Shushan, I don't mind if they win by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals. The 3 points are the thing that matters here. I don't think anything is coming down to goal difference this season. Of course, it might. But at the end of the day, the 3 points are the key thing here. I would take a scrappy 1-0. Honestly, I really would. Obviously, it won't be great viewing. But at the same time, we just have to keep up the momentum. I mean, we're on the stretch of getting this nosebleed stuff for us. 3 wins on the bounce, this could be absolutely unbelievable. Shushan's also saying after Man United dropping points, we have to turn up, please. Yeah, I mean, Leicester are having an awful season, and they've just proved that, again, anyone can beat anyone. I know they didn't beat them, but they gave Man United a good game tonight. I didn't actually watch the game, but looks like it was a very even game. Mark Cousins, big up Mark. Hope you're doing well. That's the last time we were live, wasn't it, Andre? Fan phone in Friday. Yeah. So it's been a hot week. But guys, appreciate all the support already on this one. Chelsea get battered everywhere they go. Absolutely love it, Mark. I was absolutely loving all those notifications coming through. I was absolutely loving it. Leo saying beer random, but who saw the Cal Freezy video? Can't say I did. What about you, Andre?
No, I haven't seen that.
Andre probably doesn't even know who Cal Freezy is.
You know what I did see, though? Rudiger's crazy goal, bro. Did you see it?
Yeah, listen, it was a crazy goal, 35 yards out. But at the end of the day, I think Christian Eriksen's goal was crazy. I mean, it wasn't a crazy goal, but it was hit. Did you see the way he ran? Like, he just ran and got right into the middle for essentially a tap-in. But at the end of the day, the fact he can still, run decent. Like, he was running quicker than I've seen him run for a good couple of years. So it's just really nice to see. It really is.
Yeah.
Exposed channel saying Chelsea for relegation. Maybe next year, mate. Especially if they get minus points. Maybe they get into some financial problems. But listen, I'm making this stuff up. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it would be nice. Leo Ball, be out, Leo. He says, other than about the Cal Freezy thing, which my answer was, I have no idea what video this is. So we love to see the slip ups, but now we need to keep up. Exactly. I mean, I gave it a bit of banner on Twitter earlier about Chelsea, but at the end of the day, it's going to come to bite me tomorrow if we mess up against Newcastle, and you just know Spurs have it in them to slip up. But listen, we got to stay positive on this channel. Of course, we're going to stay positive, and what are the more positive person to bring in than Emil Adgouche? What a legend. He says, big up, lads. Big up, Emil. How you doing? Well, mate. Leo Bull saying, no, I've read that. Hang on. Your message came through twice, I think. Anyway, A&R saying Chelsea out of the top 4 to make room for the bigger London clubs. Listen, I don't think Arsenal are bigger than Chelsea, and I don't think West Ham are bigger than Chelsea. I just think, we just got to focus on our own thing, haven't we? We just got to focus on making sure we don't slip up tomorrow, and that is obviously what we're going to break down in for you guys in a minute. And obviously get your thoughts in at the end. We'll obviously do the score prediction as always, so don't put your score predictions in yet, guys. Please stay tuned, and then we all go through the score predictions at the end, as you know how it works. Dara's in here. Big up, Dara. How you doing? Well, he says, I think Spurs are only starting to play at the right time of the season. 3-0 win. 3-0. Okay.
Wow.
Well, let's see if that's a common trend in a little bit. And Shushan's saying, I think there will just be that third spot, Chelsea FC. Listen, at the end of the day, like I said, top 4 is what matters. We'll get through the qualification stage of the Champions League qualifiers, getting top 4. Like, we've done it before. We can do it this time. We just need to get that 4th spot. We really do. But Andre, maybe over to you, mate, to kick things off on our show.
Perfect. Well, before we even get to that match preview, I thought it would be best if we just quickly talk about the big elephant in the room, something that was done yesterday. I don't know how many of you watched it, but of course, the World Cup that's happening soon. A lot of Spurs players will be involved. Mm-hmm. And, I thought it'd be kind of fun to sort of see sort of the players that are from our team that will have to face each other. Did you happen to see the draw there, James?
I did see the draw. I was refreshing it on my phone. I was actually out yesterday. I was in London, and listen, I just kept refreshing to see who we got. Obviously, from an England point of view, I was refreshing it, and the first name that came out was for England was USA, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that's probably the best C2 team we could have got. And then I refreshed it again and saw that Spain drew Germany. I was like, perfect. 2 of the big boys drawing each other. And then I refreshed it again and I saw Iran and USA. I mean, this can be more of a political battle in itself. And then I refreshed it again later on and saw that it's either Wales, Scotland, one of our rival teams, from the UK, or Ukraine, obviously, if they beat Scotland and then Wales. But listen, I couldn't have been much more happy with that draw in an England point of view. Maybe you want to take us through the Canadian perspective, but listen, I think England really should be qualifying out of that group. Like, there should be no excuse. I mean, we've messed up in groups before in previous World Cups, but I think the form that we've shown in the Euros in the finals in June, and obviously it was so gutting to lose to Italy, but we don't have to worry about Italy this time because they bottled it to North Macedonia, and I just feel like we couldn't have asked for a better group, and to progress out of that would be brilliant. I mean, hopefully, maybe we can see some shock exits from looking at Group G. I mean, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. That's quite a tough group. And then you've got obviously Portugal and Uruguay, Korea. The thing I'd say about that obviously is Ronaldo up against Bentancur, Ronaldo up against Son up against Bentancur. There's a bit of a Spurs thing going on there with also Ronaldo involved. And then obviously Lloris has got Denmark and Tunisia in a playoff place.
To be fair, that playoff spot there is a special one for me because Peru would, if they win their playoff seed, they will be in there. So that'll be.
I was just going to say, I just wanted to go through Group F from a Canadian point of view because obviously that's a tough group. Belgium, Croatia, and Canada, with also Morocco could maybe sort of surprise a couple of people as well. It seems like a tough group.
Oh, 100%. You got Modric in there, and you got Lukaku and all his gang in there.
You got Toby and Jan, maybe their last ever World Cup,
Yeah, exactly. Group F's actually pretty crazy, but I think that if we can somehow get some good runs against Morocco and Croatia, which, to be fair, I'm not going to say that Croatia isn't good or anything. They made it to the freaking final last time. But it is the World Cup, and just like any big tournament, on the day anything can happen. They're in the World Cup for a reason, and Canada didn't
Exactly.
make it in there in first place. It's not like
I
they
just
just
wanted to
barely
clean
made
this
it.
up. I just wanted to clear this out. That's why I brought out Wembley. What I meant was, for England, it was the best pot two team to draw in terms of ease, in terms of like, some of the pot two teams were ridiculously tough. Like I think it was Spain or Germany was one of the pot two teams. I
Mhm.
believe Croatia was a pot two team. You have Serbia. I think even the likes of Denmark was a pot two team, C2. They're tough teams, and then USA were amongst them. And I think when I looked at it before the draw started, I said USA would be the best seed 2 team to get, and we got them. So that's why I'm saying, in terms of it being the best, I'm not saying they're the best team. I'm saying for England, it was the best possible draw. Simply Ace saying, evening lads, let's hope we can get the job done tomorrow. Simply Ace, spot on, mate. I just pray for tomorrow. I mean, 4:30 kickoff this time tomorrow. We'll know our fate. But listen, 3 in a row I'm predicting. But obviously getting the score predictions in a minute. Miles, listen lads, it's easy. GG's 2-0. Love it, Miles. Hope you're doing well, mate. Still love that profile picture of Kulu, by the way. Absolutely love it. And
Yeah.
Japan with Germany and Spain. Ayanami says, Ayanami, I'm so wait, Ayanami, do you live in Japan? Do you live in Japan? Let us know. It'd be good to understand. And Emil's saying, bro, that Group F is tasty. Belgium, Croatia, Morocco, Canada. That is tough,
Yeah.
man. Exactly.
I am hoping I don't have to miss a single game, because I think it's pretty crazy. Canada hasn't been to the World Cup since 1986. I wasn't even born yet. So and to see Canada play teams that are outside of the CONCACAF, it's going to be a good one. You got Alfonso Davies in there, who's coming back. You got Jonathan David. You got a few others in there that are less known but are very underrated. But yeah, it's very, very. I couldn't believe it. I was like, of course, we have a team who's in the final, and then the Peruvian side of me looks at Group D, and we have the winners of the last World Cup in ours. So
Yeah.
just gotta love it. You can't
Yeah.
write this.
Listen, the thing I'd say about the World Cup before, like obviously not going over it too much on obviously the Spurs perspective, but the thing I'd say about the World Cup is, to win the World Cup, you have to beat, the best teams. You have to win the toughest games. It's all very well saying, oh yeah, you don't want to draw a hard game till the semis or the quarters. At the end of the day, even if you draw them in the first knockout stage, you still got to beat them to go to the next round. So you're gonna have to play them in the final if they're that good, or the semi-final. So you can. It actually hurts. It adds to the heartbreak. It's a bit like England. I think England had a really easy run to the Euro final, and actually the easiest run they had was to the World Cup semi-final. When they then lost to Croatia, and they should have beaten Croatia. But listen, to win the World Cup, you still have to beat the other teams. We would have had to have beaten France in the final. So, that's how it is at the end. I just got to bring up another thing. Miles saying, you think USA is easy. I don't want to upset people here, but I was saying it's the easiest tie in the seeds of 2. Like, Andre, I don't know if you can. Maybe I'll try while you're talking. But I was just going to say, like, if you could see the other seed 2 teams, USA is the more easy tie. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game. Like, I'm saying,
Yeah, to a point. In that perspective, yes. To say that USA is going to be an easy team to beat, not so much. Canada did beat them twice, but you never know. On the day, it just all depends, right? So USA could go over there and score some bangers. Harry Kane could be just in one of his games where he barely touches the ball. It tends to happen.
yeah. And then he
So,
turns up in the group. He turns up in the knockout round, a bit like the
and then he
Euros
turns
for
out in the
me.
game where it doesn't matter anymore. So you never know. But we'll see. Thought it would be great though to just quickly touch on that World Cupness, but obviously we'll talk about that more when we get there. It's all the way in November. Ayanami here saying just an Asian rooting for other Asian countries. Where are you from, Ayanami? That'd be I would I'd like to know what country didn't make it in there. Miles, not made. I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly. So, but at the end of the day, James is just he's rooting for his country. Just like Peru.
Listen,
if they do make it in there in the Group D, that is a hard team. That is a hard group.
Okay,
but I still want to hope.
I just want to clear up Mars. I don't want to like. I'm not offending anyone here when I say about USA, but let me read out the other pot 2 teams, and then you'll see what I mean. Denmark are better than USA. Netherlands are better than USA. Germany also. Mexico, okay, that's probably got even. Then USA, Switzerland. Okay, maybe you could argue USA could give Switzerland a good game. But then Croatia and Uruguay. I'd say that USA is probably the nicer team to get out of them, right?
Could be, but look at how Tottenham. We thought we were happy. FA Cup, we got Middlesbrough, and look what happened. So, and Kane was on that team.
No, he said no, mate. I know what you mean. I know you're having a little bit of banter, and I just wanted to defend myself. At the end of the day, I am looking forward to like all the games. Like at the end of the day, I'm not going to say any are going to be a walkover because I know with England by now that no international game is set in stone. A bit like we were just saying about the Premier League. International football can produce surprises, as we also know. Like you look at some of the games in the last World Cup, wasn't it? South Korea beat Germany. Son scored that goal to make it 2-0. Neuer was on the halfway line and he just ran past him. I mean, who thought South Korea would beat Germany? Probably no one out of 100 people.
I remember I saw that game. It was crazy.
Absolutely no one. Yeah, and Emil saying he loves international competition. It's just completely different gravy. Captain America is coming 2026 for VR year, though the prime for USA's golden generation. No, listen, you've got some exciting players coming through, Miles. You got that Pepe guy who's gone on. Is he gone to a Germans club now, hasn't he?
I believe so. Yeah,
Ricardo Pepe. He was playing at Dallas in the MLS, I believe. He's a good young player. You've got decent players coming through, decent defense. And you've also got just USA maybe decent. At the end of this year, of course, maybe 2026 is where you're hosting, aren't you, in Canada and America? So maybe that will be the. That would be it. Nepal and Hong Kong living in the UK. So I have quite low standards in terms of international football. Listen, I mean, that's cool. Nepal and Hong Kong you're from.
Wow.
But you live in the UK. Awesome. I love that. Nepal. I think Nepal, or am I thinking Fiji? Nepal, they're really good at one sport. I want to say rugby, or am I thinking Fiji? I can't remember. Let me know. But no, that's really cool. Yes, I think Augsburg. Yeah, I thought he did move. Even Mark says England have been letting me down all my life. Yeah, listen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Emil saying, nah, respectfully, as much as I think USA in the last few years have come a long way, the level and standard and skill that UK players play at in comparison to US arguably is higher. What do you think of that, Andre?
Well, you know what? That's why I was gonna say that it's just different styles. That's what's interesting about the World Cup. You get different styles of play competing against each other, and while you may have a team that's not as good, they go up against another team where their style completely trumps them. So you never know. I'll just do one more Peru reference, and then that's it for me in terms of Peru. We only lost 1-0 to Peru in the last World Cup. And it was a fluky goal where it bounced off a defender and it went in. Tottenham way to lose.
Who lost 1-0 to Peru? No, who was that?
We lost 1-0 to France.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. But it was a very fluky goal, and everyone was like, "Wow!" Like,
I think I remember that. Wasn't it an own goal?
Yeah, it was basically an own goal. So, it was just our style was just holding them down.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so we'll see when that happens. But we will have many more videos. Definitely let us know if you want to hear more about the World Cup as we get closer.
Yeah, listen, I was gonna say maybe we could do some videos in the summer about it, but then I just remembered it's in November and December, which is just absolutely, in my opinion, ludicrous. I mean, for me, the World Cup's all about it in the summer. Enjoying it with your mates, going to the pubs or doing whatever, and we've got to bear it in the winter. I mean, come on.
Well, at least
it'd be a nice
Christmas present.
It'd be a nice Christmas present, right? If we win
our season starts earlier though, so that's got to be kind of nice. We'll get a nice solid 9-10 games with no international break.
Yeah, true. But I don't know. They say about the fixtures cramming in, it's going to be a busy one next year as well, right? I mean, the players will be absolutely knackered. Second half of the season, it's going to really tell. Simply A says it doesn't matter how good a team is. If any team takes any game lightly, they will get beaten. Absolute fact. Miles saying, I personally think the easiest pot 2 team was Mexico. Mexico's quality is falling. No, listen, I'm like USA potentially, maybe not the easiest. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, but certainly it was one of the more favorable ones. I certainly didn't want to draw, like I said before, the likes of Germany, Netherlands, Denmark. I'm glad we avoided them. Even Croatia would have been a tough one. England obviously losing to them in the semi-final in 2018. So, anyway. But in terms of the Spurs players, just very, very quickly, obviously a lot of our boys in the England team. Hopefully Eric Dyer and Skippy get a chance to go. Fingers crossed on that one. And then obviously we got Steven Bergwijn, who we're talking about in the international break, was absolutely unbelievable. We'll get into that in just a minute. I know we're going to, Andre, but he's got a decent enough group. Qatar, Ecuador, and Senegal should be coming out of that. Netherlands, surely. And then you've got obviously Spain, Germany, Japan. I'm trying to think of any Spurs. We haven't got any Spanish or
Brian Hill, maybe.
Okay, Brian Hill. Okay, that's a fair point. But then obviously Belgium, we got our ex Spurs players in Jan and Toby. I believe Toby will go. I'm sure Jan will, but let's see about Toby. Surely he will go. And even Nasser Chadli still gets into that squad. I have no idea how. I mean, he's honestly one of the most underwhelming Spurs players I've seen in my lifetime, to be honest. And we have had some stinkers. Croatia, obviously, with Modric. That group of death, I guess you could call it, and maybe not a group of death, but it's certainly a tough group. And then obviously Hugo Lloris against Ericsson, be a nice one. And like I said, Bentancur, Sonny against the likes of Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, and Diego Jota. That would be interesting to play out as well. So guys, let us know maybe in the comments if you guys want to see more about the World Cup. Obviously, we are a Spurs channel, but obviously we know our players do play for all these international teams. So at the end of the day, I think it's an interesting one, especially with maybe some content coming up on the build up later in the year. So I love international football, but not when it's the friendlies. I have missed Spurs over the last 10 days. I really have.
Me too. And one little shout out, which might give a little spoiler for one of our 3 players to watch out for that we're gonna actually move on to in just 1 second. That playoff spot number 2 in Group E, I'm pretty sure is the playoff will be New Zealand versus Costa Rica. So Chris Wood might have a chance to get to the World Cup. So
and we'll probably be talking about Chris Wood again in just a bit, obviously at Newcastle now rather than Burnley, where he used to score against us all the time. But a couple more comments, and let's maybe get into our next subject, Andre. Although I did want to quickly cover. I just think we haven't got started. I did want to cover maybe Steven Bergwijn's international form, because that is ridiculous. But just very quickly, Emil's saying, to be fair, anything can happen. And I remember when Bulgaria beat Portugal 1-0 in a friendly, I believe, and the stats in that game were outrageously in Portugal's favour. Ronaldo just laughed. Listen, like you said, anyone can beat anyone on the day. It just depends on the conditions, depends which players turn up, depends on injuries. There's so many factors that can influence these kind of things. And Mark's saying, I'm not sitting in a beer garden in the winter and watching England. You know what? It might still be worth it. It might still be worth it, Mark, especially if we get to the later rounds. I certainly think it's going to be one where you want to be with your mates. We remember the Euro buzz. It was just brilliant to be out with your mates all the time, especially after COVID and being indoors for like basically 2 years. Mars saying, I personally think the easiest pot 2 team was Mexico, and I've already read that. So I think that's all for the international break, other than Steven Bergwijn, obviously 2 goals in the first international game and then a goal against Germany in the second one. He just seems to be on fire for his national team at the moment. It was great to see. And there's obviously this debate about, do we start Bergwijn? Does he get more game time? Everyone's rooting to get him more game time. Well, certainly most people on Twitter are seeing wanted to give him more game time. Andre, quick one over to you. What is your opinion on Steven Bergwijn? Do you think he should be starting games, or do you just think you can't drop Kulusevski, the man of the moment at the moment? What are your thoughts?
Well, if you couldn't tell by my face while you were reading all that, or I'm not reading, just spouting all that, I don't really care. I think Bergwijn has had so many chances to perform for Tottenham, and he does it every so often, but not enough for me to really be confident that he deserves to start. I do think that he should be given more chances, possibly if I start seeing good things, but in general, other than that Leicester game, he's just kind of not been doing much. So in a dream world, he would have continued that form that we saw when he first came, and he would have kept going through the season like that. Because I've always said, as long as a player is wearing that Tottenham shirt, I'm going to want them to do well. But it's at the end of the day, when he comes on, if we're losing, it's very much I'm kind of like, okay, the game might be over. To be honest, I don't get excited or anything. Obviously, that Leicester game, the reason why it was so crazy, besides the fact that it was 2 goals within the last 2 minutes of the game, was because I did not expect Bergwijn to do that, which obviously I was like, yes. And then the next game happened and nothing happened.
Yeah, so I think you're spot on. Like, we've given him chances, but I think the argument is, have we given him enough chances? And then the other argument is, well, why does he play so well for Netherlands and then has his little spells? And at the end of the day, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he scored 6 Premier League goals for Spurs since he joined in January 2020, right? So he's been here 2 years now. He's no stranger to the Premier League now, I would say. And it seems like every time he does come on, he looks a little bit deflated a lot of the time. And I think it's because maybe he doesn't start, but then he got those 2 goals against Leicester. But he got those 2 goals against Leicester. He then started that game. I think that next game was against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. I still thought he did all right, but didn't get enough of the ball, basically because Chelsea dominated us. But do you think he's then not getting enough starts against the smaller teams to then prove he's worthy of starts?
Well,
I think that's the argument.
That might be a good argument there. Maybe start him against smaller teams and see if he can at least do those games.
Like, would you start him tomorrow? So sorry to interrupt your point, but what I'm saying is, like, for example, would you start him tomorrow against Newcastle?
No.
I'm not saying they're a small team by any means, but I'm saying, like, a lesser opposition, not starting him against the Chelsea, but starting him against the likes of Newcastle.
I wouldn't start him tomorrow, no. This is a team that's sort of on the rise right now, and all of their games are close margins, including the one that our last 5 have all been very close margins as well. So I'm not trying to risk anything right now, especially if we're trying to go for top 4. And replacing either of those front 3, Kane, Kulusevski, or Son for Bergwijn, no, that's not an option for me. He can come off the bench. He seems decent off the bench, I guess, but other than that, he just seems to me like a player who has his short spells of brilliance, and then he just goes back to being Steven Bergwijn. So,
yeah. I mean,
and we don't need. And personally, for me, we need players who are consistent all the time, who come in and immediately they stick out. Like, look at Kulusevski. Came in, that position's his now.
The only thing is, if I was to play devil's advocate on what you just said, that I do understand, but playing, like I said, devil's advocate, I would say that, like, we stuck by Lucas for so long when he was inconsistent, and Bergwijn shows signs that he can be great, and then signs, like you said, that he is inconsistent. So it's about where you put that limit and saying, well, okay, you didn't play well this game, have another start, and then if you don't play well again, you're probably going to have to drop to the bench. But I get what you're saying also about Kulusevski. Like, you can't drop that man at the moment. I wouldn't drop Kulusevski. However, I would say that if Kulusevski is having a stinker after minute 50 or 60, Conte shouldn't be afraid to bring on Bergwijn and try and impact the game. Because I think Conte, if I had to, it's very hard to be picky on such an amazing manager, but I think Conte makes subs a little too late in games when sometimes he needs to make them earlier. And maybe people will disagree with me in the chat, and that's fine. But time will tell again when he's done that, when he's brought on a player too late. He's made like 3 changes on minute 85. That's too late for a player to make an impact. A player has to be coming on at 60, 70 to make a decent impact in a game, especially if you're chasing a game. I think it's far too late to bring them on at 80, 85. And he has done that a few times. And I think maybe he does it more in winning positions, and that's fine. But when you're chasing a game, I do believe you have to bring on a player a little bit earlier, and that's just an opinion. But guys, I mean, there's 20 of you in the watching at the moment. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think Steven Bergwijn does deserve more game time, or do you think maybe, like Andre's saying, he's not consistent enough? He's only scored 6 Premier League goals. I do believe that is the stats. Maybe someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think it's an interesting argument. I do want to see Bergwijn come off the bench tomorrow. I really do.
Yeah, I think off the bench is fine, but starting, no way. And he's got a point here. Kulu's up for Player of the Month. He can't be dropped. 100%. Stevie had only played well the last 2 matches for Holland. He wasn't even getting picked up for a while. Yeah, exactly. And it's really just one of those things where it's like, okay, it's 2 matches for a completely different team. It's completely different players who are around him as well.
And this point from Daryl Denton saying comparing international football is like with the Prem is like comparing night and day. No, listen, Daryl, you're spot on, and I do agree with you. Like what you're saying is, he can play well for his national team, and then if he does nothing for Spurs, it means nothing. But Daryl, appreciate your comment, mate. I haven't seen you in a little while. If you are new, smash the subscribe button, and guys, that goes for everyone. Please do subscribe and like the video. It does help us out with the YouTube algorithms and boosts our chances to become get to that 1K milestone like we really wanted to try and achieve. And listen, there's a lot of content coming for you. Little mid video kind of plug for the content coming up. We are hosting a quiz over on the Irish Hotspur, I believe next Saturday night, straight after the game against Villa. We'll do our match review. And then we are going live hosting on Irish Hotspur's channel a nice quiz. You guys loved the quizzes. I did a little poll on our community section. Like 40% of you loved the quizzes as our best content. So we've got that, and we've got another quiz on our show coming coming up very soon as well on our channel with some big guests, and I mean big guests that I've lined up. So very excited to bring you that, guys. So if you do like Spurs quizzes, smash the thumbs up and stay tuned for that content. And of course, tomorrow after the Newcastle game at around 6:30 p.m. UK time, straight after the 4:30 kickoff, we will give our instant match review on the game. Both myself and Andre, and it'll be great to hear you guys in hopefully high spirits after we get the 3 points against Newcastle. Here's the fingers crossed on that one. But Andre, I'm sure you're absolutely buzzing with the content coming up as well, right?
Oh, 100%, 100%. But yeah, let's get through these last few more comments and let's get going on our top 3. I realize that's what that video is about, but there was so much to cover this week. So
it is what it is, right?
Yeah, he deserves more than 5 minutes. Exactly. I do agree with James on that one. And I like Bergwijn. He needs more games in order to be consistent. However, he has Son, Kane, and Kula ahead of him. Exactly. That's the big thing. At the end of the day, yeah, he had 2 good games. So what? It's been almost 2-3 seasons, and it's been the same thing. It's been the same issues. Cool. I'm glad you had 2 good games, man. But in Tottenham's team, you're not ahead of these guys. But I'm hoping that when you do get the minutes, you show that those 2 games were not just this little outlier on the other side.
Absolutely. And just quickly for Wayne, big old Wayne, by the way, because he said we're going to have to laugh at Chelsea today in the community section when I announced that we'd be going live. So, Wayne, let's all laugh at Chelsea, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Hopefully that doesn't backfire for tomorrow. But let's enjoy the moment of Chelsea dropping 3 huge points at home against Brentford. But Andre, like you said, let's crack on with this review of the game tomorrow with the top 3. And at number 1, who have we got?
Well, first one that I picked, we got Chris Wood. Now, he may not have done too much this season. I think most of you, if you've been paying attention to this guy, it's probably one of his weakest seasons he's had in a while. But the one thing that he's good at is those aerial threat abilities. And if you know anything about Tottenham, is that we are horrible for that. We are terrible when it comes to the aerial threats. So we have to watch out for this guy. At the moment, he's got 10 matches, but 1 goal, which isn't too bad. It's March 10th against Southampton. Pass completion, 56%, kind of crap, to be honest. Tackle success, 53%, also not very good. But in the most recent international break, he got 5 goals, 2 against Fiji, 1 against New Caledonia, and 1 against the Solomon Islands. So he's coming in top form. He'll be feeling that moment. Maybe he could bring it onto Newcastle and try and do something. And again, what a coincidence that it happens to be that his strongest sort of ability, which is the aerial threat, just happens to be one of our weakest. What do you think, James?
Yeah. I think you're spot on. I think the only thing I'd say about your point there is he's coming in good form, and I think you're right. 5 goals in 3 games is significant. But against the Solomon Islands, I could probably score as well. So a bit of a different opposition to Spurs, Solomon Islands, and I can't remember what the other one you said was. But listen. He's still finding the back of the net. That always boosts morale, and maybe we shouldn't be too over the top confident about the caliber of opposition he's scoring against. But I think Chris Wood is a danger in the air. I think you're right, and I think at corners we proved it time and time again that sometimes we don't deal with free kicks and corners. The last one I could think of was against Burnley when Ben Mee out jumped Romero. You know how good Romero's been for Spurs so far. So I do think we shouldn't be counting our chickens in terms of Chris Wood not scoring just because he's only scored 1 goal in 10 games, like you said. That's my view on that.
Well, it's not even just free kicks and corners, just any crosses into the box, same thing. Look at how Southampton's 2 goals 5 minutes apart were the exact same type of goal. Just a cross in from a Southampton player, probably their best one, goes in, header, in. So we'll definitely watch out for this guy. Let's see what's being said here. Leo Ball, if I'm not mistaken, Kanye wanted to keep Steve at the club to occasionally rotate Kane. That's what I heard. Based on what I saw, it seemed like Tottenham are sort of in this spot where they can't really get rid of any players because, as you've seen, we are depleted right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, as I mentioned in that Leicester review that we did a few months back, he won himself 6 months to prove that that wasn't a fluke. And so far, kind of looks like it was. So we'll see what happens. But I do know that Ajax was interested. They were offering around 18 million and Tottenham wanted 25. So we'll see what happens in the summer. I'm sure if the right price is brought up, I'm sure they'll probably maybe sell him and then bring in someone who might have more consistency, who might be, who might fit that system better. But yeah,
absolutely.
Chris, glad to see that you're in here, man.
Chris, we're talking about Chris right now. We like you, Chris. Yeah. We don't like Chris Wood. So yeah, good timing, Chris.
Good timing, exactly. Now, number 2, we got Bruno Guimaraes. I think I pronounced that correctly.
Good pronunciation, honestly. That is good. I would have probably absolutely butchered that a bit like Derek Ray does on FIFA with Bruno Fernandes.
Oh my God. Is that actually how he says it?
He says Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. It's like, it's not Bruno Fernandes. It's Bruno Fernandes. Maybe we say it wrong. I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, this guy, honestly, even though he doesn't have too much in terms of finding the back of the net, he has really changed that midfield. And as they always say, sometimes the game is won or lost in the midfield. And bringing this guy in was totally worth it for Newcastle. At the moment, from 13 matches, he has 1 goal, 2 assists. I'm pretty sure that goal that he got was a back heel or something, some crazy thing like that.
Yep.
It was against Southampton, of course, that win. Chris Wood and Guimaraes scored on that one. So on the tag team there. 82 pass completion. Tackle success, not so good, 63%. But again, it seems like he's more so pushing forward than pushing back. So, good luck, Bentancur and Højbjerg, when it comes to this guy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him, James?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this guy, clear me if I'm wrong, I don't know too much about him. I know he's very good at Lyon. And I think he is a bit of a box-to-box player and does like a goal and can pass the ball. So he's gonna prove a bit of a tricky one for Bentancur and Højbjerg to break down. But I think I'm going to remain confident. It's not often I feel this confident going into a game. And the last time I felt this confident going into a game was probably against Southampton and Wolves that week. And then look how that turned out. But listen, I think we have turned a page in this season now. I really do. I think Conte's got the boys working. He's got them hyped. He's got them out for top 4. And we're just eking closer to that Arsenal game whenever the hell they're going to rearrange it. I bet Sky Sports are hoping Spurs win tomorrow so that they can get this, all or nothing top 4 game at the end of the season. Because I believe that is why they're waiting and they're eking it out. But
if we can somehow make top 4 somehow, I'll definitely be watching that all or nothing Arsenal just to be able to watch that moment where we beat them in the derby and then get top 4. That'd be nice.
It would. But listen, back to Bruno Guimaraes. I think he is a baller. I think they paid, was it nearly 50 million for him? And listen, that's big money. That's big statements from Newcastle. We know they've got the money now, and we just know that Bentancur and Højbjerg have to be playing like they played against Brighton and West Ham, which was unbelievably well. If one of them isn't ticking, maybe this guy's going to get a bit of space and cause us problems. And also we know the other player that's coming up, he's going to probably cause us some problems as well in that 3-letter abbreviation ASM. We know it's coming up.
Oh yeah.
But
let's just about simply
yeah,
here.
sorry, yeah.
The players need to go into the game with belief and confidence. If we do go a goal down, then we must believe that we can win until the final whistle. This is a tester of the team's mentality, no doubt. Our team cannot go into games against the lesser teams, not dominating possession, or we will struggle.
Yep.
100%. I do think when Conte came in, that even though we've been inconsistent, that part sort of got brought into the team. The resilience. We've gone down. And some games we've come back, like that Leeds one where we were down 1-0. I thought, oh, here we go again. And then no, we came back 2-1 after a nice, good halftime talk, which unfortunately we won't get to see because the all or nothing happened a few seasons ago and not this time. So
yeah.
But Bentancur will be the key. I think Bentancur and Højbjerg together are the key. It's a creative center defensive midfielder combined with a wall center defensive midfielder. That's how it works. And Skip, he is on his way to a recovery, but I do not believe that he is ready just yet. Am I right there, James?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, seems like Conte keeps saying Skip's close, Skippy's close in his press conference. His press conference yesterday, he said Oliver Skippy is close, but not going to be available. I mean, he said this for about 3, 4, 5 game weeks now. I believe he's been saying this for, and listen, we know it's something to do with it's the groin muscle, isn't it? It's a complicated one. I believe it's a complicated injury, and I would not be surprised if he's still not available for a few more weeks. Just what I've heard. But I have to go with what Conte said just because that is like the official source. But there is things I've heard where it's gonna be more complicated than what people think. Like, it's not one you can just shrug off. I believe he could be coming back in a few more weeks. To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to be available for the next game. Let's see. But I do think certainly he's not available for tomorrow. To answer your question, Leo. Big up Ellie. Ellie's in here. She says lots of people saying Newcastle are a bogey team, but we've beaten them 11 times in their 6. In the last 20 years, and the last 5 years we've beaten them 5 times to their 1 victory. Listen, I do think Newcastle are a bogey team, and certainly they were in sort of the mid 2000s, late 2000s, and even parts of the 2010s. But I just think Newcastle are historically a bogey team. Especially, I remember the one that's always lived rent free in my head was at White Hart Lane. I think 2016, I want to say. And we lost 1-0. We had about 30 shots. And who was on fire? It was Tim Krul in goal for them. It was unbelievable. Just saved everything. I believe he even saved the penalty. So, listen, history can repeat itself. But also, I see what Ellie's saying. Maybe we have got a good enough record against them to not classify as a bogey team. I think Burnley are probably more of a bogey team than Newcastle for us. But listen, it's just all about who turns up on the day, and we've got to turn up like Simply Ace was saying. We've got to get possession early. We got to hit the ground running. I say it pretty much every pre-game podcast. We have to hit the ground running. Like, if we get an early goal, changes the whole dimension of the game. If we don't score till half time, one counter attack from Newcastle and a 1-0 could be on the cards. So listen, we've seen upsets this weekend already with Chelsea, so we can't be counting our chickens. I say it again. And there's Wayne Bonner. The Tim Krul masterclass in keeping was under Villa Spurs between 2011-13. Was it really that long ago? I thought it was more like 2015-16. But there you go, Wayne. You're probably right. Andre, onto the next question. Onto the next player.
All right. So next player, as James might have already alluded and basically said the answer to, none other than Saint Maximin, of course. He is probably their best player even now. But, obviously with Guimaraes coming in, it's a little debatable now, especially because it does seem like he tends to get injured a lot. But yeah, no, he's obviously a great player. There was no way we weren't going to mention him. He just came back from injury, so he will be playing against us. At the moment, I'm pretty sure this guy has, from 28 matches, 5 goals, 3 assists. So not too much, but the man, he's got the dribbling skills to get through everybody. And he's on the left wing. He'll be going up against either Doherty or Emerson, so it probably won't be too difficult to get past them, unfortunately. So it will be really up to Romero on that right side to take care of this guy, which means that'll be Dyer's job to take care of Chris Wood if Romero's busy on the left, the right, his right side, their left side. But yeah, and 75 pass percentage completion, and 52% tackle success. Obviously, he's mainly at the front. So, but yeah, what are your thoughts on him, James?
He's a baller. He really is a baller. And people say, like, would you take him at Spurs? For me, yes. I don't think we necessarily need him. Now we've got Kudu, and obviously we have options on the wing. But say we were to lose Bergwijn and Lucas, I think this guy would be great. I think we'd also be linked with Rafinha from Leeds, but without getting too off the topic of Newcastle, I do think he's a brilliant player. Saint Maximin maybe doesn't have the highest goals and assists to games played. However, he does cause problems. He does cause issues for defenses, and that's what you want, someone like that in your team. For us, we've got Sonny, who runs at defenses when he's on his A game, like we saw against West Ham. Runs at defenses, causes problems, gets us on the front foot. He does that. He lights it up. He comes and gets the ball from the wing. He comes and gets the ball from midfield. He runs at defenders. He can get in tight spaces in the box. He is a threat. He is their highest threat by a long shot. If I was to predict who's going to score for them, other than maybe Chris Wood, it would be him. And I do think Romero, paper over the crack Davies, and Dyer have to be on their A game tomorrow, because this guy is a handful. And especially if that possession, like Simply Ace was saying, is a bit more even. I'm not saying that's what Simply Ace says. I'm saying, if we don't dominate possession and we give these guys the ball, he will run at our defense. And our defense, sometimes we've seen, it can be weak. Like, of course, it's decent now, and they've got to know each other, and even Doherty's come back and he's been decent, and Reguilon, but these players, they're not the best defensively. Like, we've seen mistakes from Dyer. I'm not going to start pretending like Dyer's this solid centre back, because he's been brilliant this season. It's probably been his best season for Spurs. He said it himself in an interview. But he still makes mistakes. Like, we haven't seen a mistake from Dyer for a while. Touch wood, it doesn't happen tomorrow, but I just know it happens. Ben Davies, I know it happens. Matt Doherty, I know it happens. Reguilon, I know it happens. And even Romero, a fraction of the time. So we can't rest on our laurels and say, we're solid enough to stop these guys. Newcastle have improved so much under Eddie Howe. It's unbelievable. And he is their main threat. So that's how I would analyse it. I would just say, we have to be on our A game, and I would not be surprised if he causes us a couple of problems where he has some really, really big chances tomorrow.
Yeah, that was a great analysis, 100%. I don't even have more to say there. That's great. Let's see, Ellie here. Have faith, all you doubters are going to the match, and we'll cheer our lads on so loud, like I did with David and Jack at the West Ham game. Well, we're not sitting here doubting. We're just trying to sort of see the pros and the cons. And giving as much of an analysis as we can. But of course, we want Tottenham to win. I've always said, if I say something that's sort of on the cons side of a Tottenham player or Tottenham in general, I want to be proven wrong. So Tottenham, prove me wrong. Go out there and get that win. Make me eat my words and go win 5-0 or something.
Enjoy the game, Ellie, as well. Enjoy the game. Hope you come back with the 3 points in the back pocket. But I know I saw the vlog with yourself, David, and Jack, and the way Jack just teared up when he saw a stadium. It was lovely to see. You guys had a great time, and obviously, I met David at the Brighton game away, and that was brilliant as well. So I'm just glad that you guys had such a great time.
That's amazing stuff. Yeah. Well, hopefully one day I'll get to see that stadium.
Maybe you'll tear up as much as Jack. Simply Aces, I really worry about our back three and wing backs every game. I mean, literally, obviously, what I was just saying. I mean, Matt Doherty has come back into the team, and and has been, I don't want to say revelation, I want to say an improvement on how dire he was before. However, we know that he has not been the best win back for us, full stop. And Ben Davies, paper over the cracks. We will see another mistake before the end of the season. Like, I would, I would 100% say he's going to do that, because just that is how he is. Ben, like, I think I'm being very fair here. I'm not going to sit here and say we've got a solid back five now. Conte's really getting us playing. I think Conte's getting us playing to an extent, but again, he has the tools. He doesn't have the tools to make this team top four, to make this team, a title challenging team. We're a long way off that yet. And a lot of that is to do with that back line. I think we've got an amazing front three with options off the bench in Bergwijn and Lucas. I think we've got starting to get a decent midfield. However, we don't have options off the bench at the moment, especially with Skip injured. And our back five is the weakest part of our team. I strongly believe that. Especially when your back five starting is Doherty, who everyone's 50-50 about, Ben Davies, who everyone's 50-50 about. Dyer, we need to stop forgetting that he has been a liability for us in the past. Romero, of course, he's like our source. He is the source at the back. But then even Reguilon, going forward, like the amount of one-on-ones that guy has, and he can't, like, honestly, he can't finish. Reguilon should have about 10 goals this season, and he's got 2. Yeah. That is a fact. Maybe not 10, but 5, certainly. 100%. He should have scored 2 against Brighton. He gets in brilliant space. He's so quick. He's pretty good on the ball. And then defensively, I have a bit of a suspicion he's not strong enough. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say it again, that trying not to go off topic, that is where we have to be careful. And that's why Tabby was saying here, Newcastle is now a new team. Let's be careful. Let's play Rodon for Davies tomorrow and give Davies some rest. Listen, I think that isn't the worst idea, to be honest, Tabby. Rodon, again, unbelievable in the international break. Conte came out and said that Rodon is a brilliant man and he's on fire for the international team and he just has to keep his head up. But I think he had a problem with his ribs. I think he broke some ribs and maybe not everyone knew about that. But listen, I think it's not necessarily the worst idea, but I think I would keep Ben Davies in, even though I say he's paper over the cracks. I would, until he makes a mistake. And people might say, well, when does Rodon get his game time? At the end of the day, if it's not broke, don't fix it, as the saying goes. So maybe that the broker will need to be fixed in the paper over the cracks when Ben Davies next makes his mistake. Maybe that's Rodon's time. Mill saying, ultimately, in the moment, I think Spurs, this is Spurs' game to lose. I can see Spurs controlling the game. It'll be up to them to make their chances. But Newcastle on the counter will be the biggest threat. And exactly this guy in particular, Alan St. Maximin, is a baller. You heard it here first. Clip me on it. He will cause us at least 1 or 2 problems tomorrow. I'm telling you now. Yeah.
He's always waiting at the top there, just ready to run. So
100%. I mean, hopefully on the review we'll say, he got shut out by Romero all game. He got bullied. He got, sent off the ball. But, let's see. Leo Ball's saying keywords. He's doing the best with what he has. Exactly. And Conte won't produce this team into being an incredible team. And that's why I've started it at the start as well. Ellie, I don't think people doubt what this Spurs team can do. I think they doubt inconsistencies and they doubt that Conte doesn't have the tools to work with to be a solid team. Like, Chelsea today probably went in thinking, oh yeah, we'll breeze Brentford, and they didn't, because they maybe have some vulnerabilities where a couple of players, or it seems like the whole team, weren't playing up to scratch. We could have that tomorrow. We could have it where we start and go, yeah, easy 4-0, which I'm probably going to say in a minute. But if we don't turn up, we know how Spurs can be, and that's just a fact. That is a fact. Darryl was saying, I fear for some fans if we don't get top 4, I think it's a mini meltdown will be incoming if we lose more than 1. Lol. You're spot on, Darryl. You're spot on. At least saying they've improved so much, but so have we, and got to 5th with the chance of going 4th. I hope Palace do a number on Arsenal on Monday and take all 3 points from them. It's tricky as Vieira's love for the Gooners. Listen, Vieira will have no love lost for Arsenal tomorrow on Monday Night Football. I think he's doing a great job with Palace. He's probably been manager of the season, in my opinion, and he's improved that Palace team.
Yeah, and to be fair though, Ellie, this is probably the first 2-game winning streak we've had in a while. So I do think we've definitely turned a page. I'm hoping, but Tottenham have been inconsistent. So
Yeah.
that is mainly where all this is coming from. I do think this team on the day can beat some of the best teams out there. As you can see, we beat Man City. We're resilient, but that inconsistency is there, which makes me scared every time because I don't know who we could lose to. It's that inconsistent right now.
Mm. Yeah, exactly that, Andre. One more point from Simple A saying Rodon is better than Davies and will help improve our defence, especially from set pieces and crosses going into the box. Listen, I think there's a lot of you that will probably say Rodon over Ben Davies, and you guys know how I feel about Ben Davies. Set every single podcast. He's paper over the cracks in this team at the moment. He is the paper mache over the hole in your wall. You know, he is. He literally is. You know, but he's done a decent job for most of it. And Rodon just hasn't had a sniff. But listen, without going too much off on the Rodon Davies debate, maybe for another video. This extra player, no stranger to the faces of Spurs fans, but yeah, take it away, Andre. Obviously, Kieran Trippier.
Yep. So just to quickly preface this, he is injured, so he will not actually be playing against us. But I thought it would be good to just give an honorable mention to a player who was part of a very critical part of Tottenham's team during the high moments of Tottenham. I'm pretty sure the final, all that stuff. But it's unfortunate that he will not get to play. But at the same, obviously, I hope he recovers soon. But he has been in form with Newcastle. He scored that free kick, and so at the moment, I think from 5 matches he has 2 goals. So but the reunion's there.
Listen,
it'll be nice. It'll be nice to see him.
Nice free kick as well. He scored, but the game he got injured. I think he's had quite a nasty injury. I don't know how long he's out for, but
it's
it's
called
weeks,
a
metatarsal.
Metatarsal's a broken one, so broken metatarsal.
Nasty.
So.
I've done that before. Yeah, it's nasty. That one, 4 to 6 weeks. Emil saying, agree with you boys. Very fair and critical analysis of Spurs at the moment. Thank you, Emil. We try not to bring our Spurs bias in. At times, of course, it does creep in. But I just do try and be honest about how I feel about Spurs. And I mean, Bellerin for us, Cafu, Cafu for the other teams. Who's that he's talking about? He's talking about Doherty.
I think so.
Oh, maybe yeah, well, that all rode on maybe, but Cafu was right, but I must be talking about Doherty. Listen, guys, it's that time. It's that time to put in the comments now your score prediction for the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow, 4:30 UK time. Tottenham v Newcastle, huge game. Put your score predictions in below, but by the time all these predictions have come through, there's 20 of you in the chat. Smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. And I'm over to Andre for his score prediction first.
All right. Well, you know me, always have to preface it with things. So just to quickly give a tiny little analysis as to why I'm predicting what I am. From their form at the moment, Newcastle have scored 6 goals in their last 5 games and only allowed 4 in. They've won 3 of their last 5 matches and lost the other 2. But the thing is, their last 10 games, 7 of them have been won or lost by a 1-goal margin. So they're tight games, every single one. In terms of their injuries, Kieran Trippier, obviously injured. Fabian Schär, he's questionable, and Callum Wilson is also out. So they'll be mainly relying on Chris Wood. Tottenham, Skip Sessegnon will not play. Their form, they've scored 12 and only allowed 5 in. And they've won 3, lost 2 as well. So, lastly, the head-to-head. 1-0 loss, 3-1 win, 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw, and a 3-2 win. So, close margins for us as well against Newcastle, which is why I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Tottenham.
2-1.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a tight game.
2-1. Wow. Okay. That is tight. Who's your scorers?
I think Harry Kane will score, and I
Mhm.
think Son will score as well. I think it'll just be those two again.
Yeah, and for Newcastle, if you have to go for that.
I'm gonna say Chris Wood's gonna get one, a header.
Yeah, yeah, that's who I would predict to score. Listen, let's get my prediction and then let's read out. I know there's already 5 or 6 of you that have predicted the score. It's great, guys. If you want your score read out, get it in the chat now. But listen, I am going for. Do you know what? I changed my mind twice, and I should stick what I originally thought, which was 3-0. I'm going for a clean sheet. 3-0. Paper over the
Wow.
cracks defence is going to go for a clean sheet. I think we'll shut them out. I think they'll have a couple of close calls. But I do think Lloris will be on fire tomorrow. That is a little early prediction. I think he'll be tested 2 or 3 times. And I think 3-0. And I think it's going to be a Kane brace. And Son's confidence will be high because he scored in the international break as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kulusevski. Is he all fine? Because he did injure his cheek in one of the international games, didn't he?
Yeah, but from what I heard, I didn't hear any mention of him not playing.
Yeah,
So I'm
surely
just
that
gonna
wouldn't
assume
stop
that he
him.
will.
Yeah, that wouldn't stop him playing either, really, would it? But I mean, don't know if he got any concussion or anything. But yeah, 3-0, Kane brace, and gonna go Kulusevski with the other one. 3-0 Spurs, huge 3 points, buzzing tomorrow. This time tomorrow on the review, and that's my prediction. So you've gone 2-1, I've gone a bit more of a positive 3-0. Let's get the score predictions from the chat. Let's get it. It's my favourite bit of the show. Ellie's going for 4-2. Wow, what a cracker that would be. That would be an absolutely unbelievable game. Wayne Bonner's going 2-3 or 4-0 Spurs.
Yeah, you gotta pick one, man.
Yeah, Wayne. I like your your group kind of hedging your bets there. But listen, you gotta go with one, man. Emil's going for a 3-1 Spurs. Absolutely love it, Emil. Simply Ace going for a 1-0. Wow, with Son
You know
scoring.
what?
Listen, like I said at
wouldn't
the
be
start of
surprised
the
if that
video,
was it too. Yeah, that
like I
could be
said at
good.
the start of the video, I couldn't care less as long as we get the 3 points. I couldn't
Yeah.
care if it's 6-5, 1-0, 2-1, or 3-0. I do not mind as long as we get those 3 points. About Reguilon, I agree, but at the moment I think he's better than Sessegnon. Yes, agreed. Simply agree on that one, Tapiwa. But he does have his frailties. He does have his areas where he can improve. Chris Wood loves cheeky header. Yeah, exactly, Emil. You got to watch out for him. Maybe that's your score prediction on the 3-1.
2-1.
Oh, I did. No, I meant Emil's 3-1. I meant maybe he means Wood would score. Taffy was saying, I didn't know about Rodon's injury. Yeah, with the ribs. Yeah, exactly. 4-2 again. This 4-2 is coming up again. So Ellie's gone 4-2, and so has Leo's gone 4-2. Kane and Dunn will have 2 each. I think he means Son. And Wood will score 2. So 3 braces. Wow. Wayne's going, okay, 4-0 it is. Love it, Wayne. Absolutely loving the optimism. That's what we like to see. That's why you come here. Reguilon is better with ball position, defensively, speed, and Sessegnon. I agree. Reguilon can't finish for some good opportunities. Exactly type of where I'm sure we can analyse Reguilon against Sessegnon, Rodon against Davies at a later date. But all I'm worried about now is that Spurs do not ruin my whole week, my whole weekend, and lift the spirits and lift the belief that we can still get top 4 and beat the scum to top 4. Looks like Man United have hit a bit of a roadblock in terms of their challenge for top 4. They were in the driving seat at one point, and now it's certainly Arsenal and then us second. So it's all to play for. Guys, you've been amazing. 1 hour, 7 minutes of us just talking Spurs and talking the international break. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for all your comments. You guys are amazing. We do really enjoy interacting with you guys every single video. And the likes, the subscribes, the comments, they all do mean a lot in terms of growing this channel and helping myself and Andre kind of achieve our dreams, if you like, and really go on and to go above the 1,000 mark, which we're very, very close to. I mean, we're about 340 off, but it would be an absolute dream to do that before the end of the season. That is what I said. I will stick by that. I mean, we've got 9 games left. I mean, like, 2 or 3 months, if that. But listen, I'm all for believing we can still do it, and the support you guys have shown makes me just think that even more. A couple more comments and then we will wrap things up. Maybe go to Andre for a little closer. Ellie saying Maddison's goal for Leicester should have stood. The referee is a clown. I have to watch that one, Ellie. But it looks like maybe Man United have got away with a draw. And Simply Ace is saying, great show, lads. Keep them coming. Of course, please, guys, stick around. Tomorrow after the game, remember, 6:30, straight after that game ends, we'll be live for our instant match reaction. Like I said, hopefully it is a positive one. But we have to just wait and see. Sessignon more aware defensively, but Reguilon more confident going forward and exciting. Just frustrating with his finishing, but he has got 2 goals and 3 assists. Yeah, he's still a decent record. And Darryl saying VAR was right to keep the player. Took Varane's legs. I'm sure we can debate about Man United at a later date, and maybe that will be the difference. But listen, Andre, thanks so much for joining as always.
Of course. Thank you. What I will say about tomorrow, look, we're not in the driving seat exactly, but I think what Tottenham are doing, I think they're just concentrating one game at a time, and that's how they should do it. Stop looking at that table, focus on your game, and next thing you know, a couple players will be looking back constantly and then won't be looking forward. They'll drop those points. Next thing you know, they look back, we're not there, we're in front of them. So let's just take it that way. Let's go in there, super confident, get those 3 points. As James said, at the end of the day, I don't care what the score is. We need to leave there with 3 points.
100%.
That's all it is.
Spot on, Andre. Spot on. Couldn't be more right. And guys, that is everything. Thank you so much. Like I said, please do like, subscribe, and comment any thoughts. And we will see you tomorrow after the game in less than 24 hours' time. You guys have been amazing, you Spurs Relatables. Please have a nice Saturday evening. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on!